You were a student, you started at like Walmart.
Yeah.
How much Walmart was paying you?
Walmart was paying me, so back then the minimum wage law was, I think, $11 an hour was minimum wage. I was making just over that. I think I was making like $11.50 an hour.
Yeah, and if you make 200,000 a year, how much is it going to be per hour? It's going to be like probably 100. These were really good pricing costs.
Yeah, dude, I got them on sale last time. Oh my god.
$7 for the whole thing.
Yeah, it's fucked, man.
This was $7 for the whole bottle.
Reese,
For the whole box.
sponsor him.
Sponsor my video. سلام ارادت دوستان، ادیب یکی از دوستای کانادایی من هستش که مدرک CPA شو گرفته و از زمانی که دانشجو بود من تقریبا میشناسمش تا زمانی که الان توی شرکت خیلی خوب شروع کرده به کار کردن و الان که CPA شو کامل کرده انتظار میره که درآمدش خیلی هم بره بالاتر مجدد. به خاطر این بهش میگفتم یکی از موضوعات جالبی که بچه‌ها دوستان بدن که آقا مثلا موقع دانشجویی چقدر میشه پول در آورد توی مثلا رشته‌های مالی، توی رشته‌های حسابداری، بعد که درس تمام میشه چقدر میشه پول در آورد، بعد که مقدار میری جلو چقدر یه دفعه افزایش پیدا میکنه. خیلی قشنگه که به صحبتاش گوش بدیم در مورد تجربهش که ببینید چقدر یه دفعه اوضاع خوب میشه و چقدر یه دفعه میتونید ارتقاهای خوب پیدا کنید و اصلا یه دفعه از زیرو رو میشید از زمانی که دانشجو هستید اینجا و سختیایی که میکشید تا اینکه مثلا یه دفعه کار خوب پیدا میکنید و درآمدتون خیلی خیلی افزایش پیدا میکنه. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Yeah, I was just giving an introduction. بچه اینم من زیرنویس میذارم براش، میتونید قشنگ زیرنویس‌ها رو بخونید. So Adib, thank you for coming. You did your CPA.
Yes.
I just want you. We have like 10-15 minutes.
Okay.
We want to go through the like a little bit of your background.
Okay.
Your education.
Yeah.
And I want you to quantify everything.
Okay. Okay.
Especially when it comes to income.
Okay.
To money.
Okay.
You know numbers. Give us numbers. You're an accountant.
I can do that.
So first of all, how old are you?
I'm 25.
25.
25.
So and let us know about your background. What did you study? What did you do during your study? Did you work during your like bachelor? What did you do after you graduated? Where did you work? Things like that.
Yeah, totally. So, hi, my name's Adib. I'm 25 years old.
Oh, by the way, bachelor, قراره که با Adib, we're planning to do a podcast too.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, that's gonna be sick.
Yeah, look forward to that.
Definitely.
So anyways, about me, my name's Adib. I was born in Canada, but my family is from Bangladesh. And I was raised here, and I've lived in Ottawa my entire time. Growing up,
Very adventurous life.
Oh yeah. Back home, my parents had an education, but when they came here, it was mainly for my brother and myself to, get raised and have a better education and a better life here, which so far has paid off. In 2015, I started my undergraduate education, my bachelor's of accounting, at Ottawa, the University of Ottawa, and that was a 4.5-year program. During that time, I tried to keep a job for the entire time, but during the beginning, it was simple odd jobs in like retail, like I started at Walmart. My next job after that was being an insurance agent. That was in my second year of university. And then after that, I got my first job while I was still in university in the accounting field. So I worked for PricewaterhouseCoopers.
PwC?
Yeah, PwC is a big four accounting firm. And I worked there for, if you include my undergraduate period where I started during my co-op, 4 years, give or take, 4 years. So I started in 2018 while I was in school still, but it was a co-op program, so I wasn't working and doing school at the same time. I would take school off to go work. When I started at PwC in 2018, I was making on the lighter side of 40K, closer to the 40K area, mid 40s. I did a co-op every year until I graduated. So in 2018, I did 4 months. In 2019, I did 8 months at PwC, and then I graduated at the end of 2019, and in 2020, I started full-time.
So 2020 was the start of the full-time. Before going to your full-time career, how many co-op semesters did you do?
So in total, I did a whole year. I did 12 months worth. It was 4 months in 2018, and then 8 months in 2019.
Can I ask how much you were making when you were a co-op student?
Yeah, absolutely. So at my firm specifically, it depends on which job you get, what size the firm is and everything. But at my job, when I first started in 2018, I started at $41,000.
41,000.
41,000.
As a co-op student.
Yeah, as a co-op student.
So
they prorate that. So essentially, I got 41,000 divided by 3 because I only worked 4 months out of 12 months.
Is it like how much for an hour?
At the time, I think it was just over $20 an hour.
$20.
Yeah, which
That's good.
yeah, I mean it's not bad, all things considered. Ironically enough, I was making more at my insurance job. But it was the career before the money. So I put the career first, which is why I left the insurance job for the accounting job. But I started at 41,000 in 2018. In 2019, when I did my 8-month term, they increased my salary by $2,000. So I made 43,000. And then when I started full-time in 2020, they boosted my salary more, and I started at $47,000. So that's what I was starting with in 2020. Not to ramble on for too long, but I only worked for 4 months full-time before I left to do my master's in accounting. Which is 2 summer semesters, so summer of 2020 and summer of 2021. And when I came back after my first semester of my master's, I got promoted to senior associate, which is when they boosted my salary even more by $10,000. So that was the biggest jump. And then I worked all the way until September of 2021 when I wrote the final exam for CPA and found out that I passed in November of last year, which is also 2021. So here we are.
Nice. So you got your CPA, and then you changed your job. You went to EDC.
Yes.
Export Development Canada.
Yes.
Which is a crown corporation.
Yep.
Pretty well respected.
Yep.
And how are you finding that? Give us a little bit of insight into that.
Well, it's
I'm not asking about like your salary right now.
No.
Just the big picture.
Yeah, the big picture. Well, the biggest. So when I came to EDC, the biggest thing that was, I guess, a shift for me was I was working in finance more than accounting now. So I went from being a tax accountant to a credit analyst. So now my full-time job is to analyze companies and determine their credit worthiness and how much credit we're willing to extend to companies. So rather than making financial statements, now I'm analyzing them full-time.
Yeah.
Which is similar a lot to what you do in the sense, right? Well, kind of.
At a higher
level.
Not that higher level.
Yeah.
I mean like a different level.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's
more like top down.
Top down. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
We're not like that bottom up.
Yeah. Well,
I don't need to know what's happening exactly inside the company.
Exactly. Yeah. So I have to pay attention to a lot of that stuff with my job just to really make sure I understand what's going on. But I would say at the beginning it was a bit of a learning curve where I wasn't used to doing the analysis full time.
Talk to the audience.
Right. I wasn't used to doing the analysis full time. I was more so used to making those financial statements and following a set of rules, which is very common in accounting, right? Is you have the rules that you have to follow by law, and you follow those when you do your work, whether it's audit, taxes, risk assessment, whatever it is. When I got to finance, those rules kind of went out the window and everything became more general. I needed to start having opinions, making my own judgment, and doing my own analysis. Once I started doing that, I would say things definitely got a bit more complicated at the beginning. But now that I've adjusted, I would say I'm doing much better at it, and I really enjoy my work.
Let's go to the CPA.
Okay.
And after that, we talk about like what you can expect in coming years in terms of salary, compensation, and things like that.
Yeah.
Big picture.
Yeah.
So CPA, when did you start it? What's the process? Just, in a nutshell.
Okay, yeah. So my CPA process actually started in 2018 when I started my first co-op position because you need 30 months of work experience, so about 2.5 years. And what happens is that as you work, every 6 months you have to report how much work you've done, what you did, and how it meets the CPA criteria. So I did that for every 6 months since 2018. My last report that I filed was only a couple months ago. So you have to be able to get that work experience, but also you need to be able to pass all the tests and assignments that you have to do along the way.
And can you describe those? Like what are the tests? Like how many?
Yeah, absolutely.
CFA is just 3 levels.
Yeah.
Easy, simple.
It's
and then
3
you
exams,
need to have the work experience to become a charter holder.
Right, exactly.
How does CPA work?
So CPA is a lot more complicated than CFA in that sense, only from an administrative position, because you have to do presentations. You have to write cases, which are all open-ended. None of them are set, guaranteed answers. They do have their own ideal answer, but it's not necessarily the correct answer all the time, right? So it involves a lot of open-ended questions, a lot of open-minded thinking. and high conceptual thinking when it comes to doing those cases. You also have to do, like I said, board presentations, and you still have to write exams as well. But they don't have as much weight, for example, as a CFA exam would, where it's a bunch of questions and it determines your entire grade, right? But you have to do those consistently throughout the process. And
so how long does it take?
Honestly, it's hard to say, but usually the whole process of the exam portion takes about 2 years, give or take, just about 2 years.
Is it 2 exams?
No, there's multiple small exams along the way. Yeah, and it's mostly case-based, right? So it's mostly writing cases and doing that open-ended thinking that I was mentioning. So that's kind of the main focus behind your CPA, and that's what they actually test you on. That's what the final exam is 3 cases back-to-back. It's a 4-hour exam with one big case, a 5-hour exam with another big case, and then a 4-hour exam with multiple small cases. And you do those 3 days in a row.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a long process, but I mean, here I am now and I have my letters.
And now that you have your CPA, what's next for you? Like, what can you expect?
Yeah, somebody with, for example, 15 years of experience is probably, after everything, full compensation in public accounting, making closer to 200K in Canada.
200K, yeah.
Somebody with 6 or 7 years of experience but is very smart would probably make just over 100K. Maybe
before
just under.
Before compensation? Before like bonuses?
Before taxes, but after bonuses, realistically.
After bonuses.
Yeah, after everything. Total compensation.
That's not too high. Yeah.
It's not too high, but when you think about it, it's also really good in the sense that, you graduate, an average person graduates their undergrad at the age of 22, right? Roughly. So another 6 or 7 years, you're only 28 and you're making over 100,000, which is
it's not bad.
Pretty good, all things considered, right?
When it comes to comparing CPA to CFA, which one do you think will make you more money?
If I'm being perfectly honest, I would say a CFA.
CFA?
And the only reasoning for that is that the jobs that require a CFA typically involve handling large sums of money.
Yeah.
So if you get a percentage cut of that, you're going to make a lot more money in the end, right?
You get a bonus, yeah.
Exactly.
Good bonus, yeah. And what else?
Well, one thing to know about having
when you were a student, you started at like Walmart.
Yeah.
How much Walmart was paying you?
Walmart was paying me, so back then the minimum wage law was, I think, $11 an hour was minimum wage. I was making just over that. I think I was making like $11.50 an hour.
Yeah, and if you make 200,000 a year, how much is it going to be per hour? It's going to be like probably 100.
I'm probably just under 100. It's probably around, I would say, off the top of my head, maybe 70 to 80 an hour.
I think it will be more even.
It might.
Yeah.
It might. I've never done the calculation on an hourly basis.
Walmart.
Yeah. 10 times Walmart.
Yeah. What else do you want people, younger people probably coming here to do their undergrads or even like doing their masters here?
Yeah.
Yeah, what would you tell them, or anything else you want to add?
Well, advice I would give is, obviously you're young and you're in your undergrad. You should have your fun. But one thing to definitely keep in mind is that it's super important that you actually do well in school, because that's what gets you the easiest job right out of school. I know a lot of people who had a hard time finding a job out of school because they didn't care as much about their grades and didn't apply themselves enough to put in the effort to try to get a job during school like I did. I'm not saying you have to do that either.
You've been very proactive.
I was very proactive, and I'm not saying you have to be either. I know a lot of people who got a job right out of undergrad without ever having any professional experience, right? So it's all possible, but you make your life easier the harder you work while you're in school.
Yeah.
Which I know I did. I was always doing something. At least 80 hours of the week I was doing something, right? Whether it was work or school, extracurriculars, whatever it was. I stayed busy, so I'd recommend stay busy, Put in the hard work, stay busy, and study a lot.
Don't find girlfriends.
Yeah.
That's the best part.
Stay single.
Stay single?
Stay single.
Don't marry? Don't have kids?
Nope. Definitely not.
Bro, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
This was really helpful. We're going to do the podcast together.
Absolutely.
And I have a good feeling about it.
Oh, yeah. I'm feeling good
much.
about it. Thank you.
I'm so happy that you got your CPA.
Thank you very much.
Hopefully next year I'll get my CFA.
Oh, yeah.
And then we'll do the same video again, and I'll talk about how much you can make when you finish your CFA.
We'll check back in a year to tell you how much we're making.
That's it. Always have a catchphrase, and I say see you in the next one. You can say it.
All right. See you in the next one.
Thanks. That's it. That's a video.
That was dope. That was sick.